Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another live stream. Hope you guys are ready to have some fun today. I completely forgot and I just realized that today is February 29th, aka a leap day, leap year, whatever that means. So anyways, the extra day to the month. All right, so yay. So let's celebrate and by having a live stream that we would normally have, today would normally be, I guess, March 1st, right? So, but hey, February 29th is also good. So anyways, hope you guys are ready. You already know how we do here. We fill the live stream with a bunch of shenanigans as we talk about today's subject, which is, what is today's subject? Oh yeah, are you moving to Mexico for the right reasons? So that's what we're gonna be talking about today. So shout out to everyone out there and welcome, to another, Thursday live stream. So what we're gonna do here. We're gonna, kind of do a little bit of an intro here. Just talk a little blah blah blah. While we wait for everyone to get into their seats, get to all the notifications and all that good stuff before we really, get rolling. I hope you guys are ready to have some fun today, as we usually do here on the channel. What was I gonna say? But yeah, so today, honestly, today's subject is kind of like I'm mailing it in a sense, because this is a very easy subject for me to talk about. I still don't understand, after living here for 6 years, how many people just don't get it, meaning that they don't understand what living in Mexico is all about. The fact that so many people out there, still to this day complain about, things like Mexico is so expensive. It is insane to me. It's really insane to me. I mean, we can just start off with that, I guess. But anyways, a little sound check 1 2 3 4 5 6. Let's I'm guessing sound is coming in good, since you guys are not complaining or saying anything on your end. That's usually how I kind of do my sound checks. I just check out the chat and I see what you guys are saying on your end. But anywho's, yeah, so in today's video, on today's live stream, we're going to be talking about, again, are you moving out here for the right reasons or not? I'll go into why I moved out here, all right? And again, why I have been so successful out here in a sense, with my life. And again, I haven't, lived better ever. You know what I mean? Like the best time of my life and the best experiences I've ever had have basically kind of been here. I've had tons of experiences, tons of, life adventures and so on and so forth. By the way, a little shameless plug real quick. If you guys, hold on, wrong one. Okay, if you guys want to know more about, again, a lot of my adventures and life and all that good stuff, tune in later on today. Once we're done with this live stream, we're going to go live on Jose Unleashed, and we're going to be talking about, talking about Disney. And again, as you guys can see from the title there, getting thrown out of Disney, all right, is not what it used to be. All right, so we're going to be talking about my own, personal experiences, with Disney World, Disney, and all that good stuff. And I hope you guys are ready to have some fun and enjoy, again, the insanity. All right, I got like a fly flying around here. Let me see if I can grab it. So look, this thing right here, by the way, it's a cool thing that I discovered out here. Oh, the fly left. Damn it. See, I got distracted. It's like the fly took it. He saw the racket. So anyways, this is an electrical racket. Don't touch it. You'll get electrocuted. But long story short, you kind of wave it around and you get to catch flies with this thing. All right? Or any kind of bug. And it's really cool because they get like electrocuted. They get fried. And then it smells kind of funny. But hey, whatever. That's another story for another day. So yeah, the reality is that, I'll go into my story real quick as to why, I moved out here. For those of you guys that don't know why I moved out here, the reality is that, I was looking for freedom. Kind of let's, get into it real quick. That's the reality of it. I was just looking for freedom. And I found it out here. It's quite simple. So again, just to give you a quick, synopsis on my actual story, I was, down on my luck. Okay, in Los Angeles in the USA. Okay, this is 6 years ago. Okay, a little over 6 years ago. I was doing, I guess 8 years ago, I was doing really, really, really well, financially, and really well, like, I guess, in life. If you, using the regular old measuring stick, that a lot of people use as to, oh, that guy's doing well, meaning I was making good money, I had a pretty good career, things were going pretty well, in many aspects, all right, of my life. And so, for people looking outside in, just looking at me from the outside, hey, Jose's doing really, really well. And then basically a bunch of life stuff happened, and I lost everything, simply, again, it's kind of crazy, how everything happened. It's a whole story. I'm not going to get into it here right now. But yeah, long story short, I was just, traveling through the wrong part of Texas, and I got kidnapped by some police, and the rest is history. They literally turned my life upside down. I lost everything that I owned, and I was barely clinging on to my freedom. And so around then, I moved to Los Angeles. I was trying to rebuild, and trying to get out of rock bottom in a sense. And you already know, the USA these days is crazy expensive. Okay, but it was already crazy expensive back then, and having to restart from the beginning, and on top of that, having all of these things on my shoulders, all of this weight on top of me of, having to, deal with authority over there in Texas, having to, pay, lawyers, pay for my freedom, deal with the courts without having to go to court. Okay. That's another story for another day. Yeah. Anyways, I'm very well versed, okay, on, constitutional rights, and very well versed on so many of those things. And so, yeah, no way. I was trying to fight this, okay, as best as I could without ever stepping foot in front of a judge, and, I don't want to get into all that, but, they can just make you disappear and throw away the key for no reason at all. Again, you become part of the prison industrial complex, one shape, form, or another. So, again, I was trying to rebuild and trying to do all that in the USA. And, again, I quickly realized, oh, wait a minute, things are not what they used to be. Things are just even more difficult. And I was always, right on the edge, right on the verge of living on the street in LA, and I was like, wow, this is insane. This is crazy to me, So I just kept, fighting and kept working and kept, producing and doing so many things. And at that point, I was really getting back into, making videos and doing YouTube and doing all that stuff, but actually taking it a little bit more serious. And, again, my only income really was working for Uber, anyways. So as I was just trying to get back on my feet, again, the rug got pulled from under me again. And the people I was living with basically said, hey, all right, we're out of here. We're leaving LA. We're going back to Alabama. We're going back to, where we came from. So you got to find a new place to live. And I was like, what? All right. And so, I had like 3 weeks, literally 3 weeks, okay, to figure out where I was going to land. And when I started looking around, for other places to live, I couldn't find the place. I couldn't rent the place because they were asking me for, again, not just 1 month's rent, 1 month rent, 3 deposits, credit check, background check, all of these things. And I was like, bro, what? Huh? You know what I mean? And most of the stuff you had to pay out of pocket too. And it's like, what? So I couldn't even rent my own place. On top of that, I couldn't find, other roommates. I couldn't find anything. So I was like, all right. I'm out of here. You know what I mean? I'm done. You know what I mean? Because not only could I not afford any of this stuff, even if I wanted to, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't really like a feasible thing. I was just trying to stay off the streets, trying to stay, sane, I guess, and trying to stay in the US, trying to stay in LA or whatever. And, it wasn't feasible. It just wasn't a real thing. So, and again, my main concern was freedom. And not that I wasn't willing to work or willing to do anything, but I just wanted to be free. And the last thing I wanted to do was, again, work, a job. And then on top of that, be living out of my car or in a tent. And I was like, no, wait a minute, what? No. You know what I mean? Like, my parents were immigrants. They came to this country for a better life. And this is not the better life that they envisioned, all right? So, no way, Jose. So, immediately in panic, I was like, all right, where can I go on earth? Because I had already, in years prior, I was already, thinking, all right, maybe I could leave the country, go travel, do this. When things were good, I never did. And all of a sudden now it's like, well, life forced me to, figure something out. Again, it was either live on the street or, I don't know, leave the country. I know it sounds crazy, but that was it. You know what I mean? I was like in a panic. And so I said, well, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? So I started looking into, countries in Latin America, because I was like, all right, it's already going to be difficult enough, especially with nothing to my name, no money, no nothing, no resources. So let me at least keep it as simple as possible. Let me, go to a Spanish-speaking country, since I speak fluent Spanish. So as I started doing my research, basically the best landing spot for me was Mexico. And so I did some research on Mexico, and back then I was like, man, I was just believing all of the fake news, I guess. You know what I mean? All of the misinformation on what Mexico was. Hey, don't go out there because they're gonna kidnap you. The cartel's gonna get you. It's dangerous. All of these misconceptions. And so I was like, man, what the hell? So I started doing a little research, and before I knew it, I found, a few YouTubers out there. I think the Tangerines, Tangerine Travels, Kinetic Keenas, and then like a bunch of retirees. That was it. There was nobody else out here. And Ford Quarterman, another guy, shout out to him. But that's it. There really wasn't anybody out here. But that was plenty. That was enough for me to be like, oh, wait a minute. This doesn't look that dangerous. This doesn't look that bad. So I kept doing more research, and I kept, seeing what was out there. And before I knew it, I was like, okay, I'm out of here. I'm definitely not going to live in a tent. I'm definitely not going to live in the street. That's way more dangerous than going out there and living in, basically paradise, right? Because that's the thing. I said, as I was doing my research, I kind of found Mérida, Yucatan, which is where I live right now. And back then it was still like undiscovered. I had no idea what it was. But when I did a little bit of research, I was like, oh, wait a minute. This place seems pretty freaking cool. And it's, again, in a tropical region. I'm from Florida. All right. So I was like, all right, this is perfect so far. I found out that all the Mayan pyramids, all those pyramids, the Mexican version of the pyramids that they have in Egypt. Okay, whatever. Anyway, so this is, right in the middle of all that. Cancun was like a stone's throw away. And I was like, all right. I'm out of here. You know what I mean? I'm out of here. And so basically at that point, I was already making income and doing a lot of freelance work. And so, well, you know what I mean? Online. So I was like, all right, I don't need much. I did a quick kind of, some research on like what the cost of living was going to kind of be like. Again, there was not much information on all that back then. And I was like, okay, wait a minute, you know what I mean? I think I can make it out here. I think I can figure it out. And so I just left, you know what I mean? Again, it wasn't really because I was like planning for months and months and months. No, it was just, if I didn't leave, I was going to live on the street. And that was not an option. So I was like, all right, we're going to go on a new adventure, Jose. Let's go. You know what I mean? This is not the first time I do something like this. And so I said, all right, let's hold on a second. Let's move on to another adventure. And so that's how I basically packed my bags, the 3 bags that I had, and I landed here. And you guys know the rest of the story. And some of you guys already know this story as well. But the main reason I moved out here was for freedom. Freedom. Okay? Freedom. And so when I came out here, all of a sudden, oh, wow, I was like, so shocked by the actual freedom that people had. Again, it was very shocking to me, especially as an American, coming from the USA and, coming from the land of rules and regulation and, kissing the boot, right? And, bowing down to authority, and all that stuff. And all of a sudden I came out here and I was like, wait a minute, look at all these people just living their lives. Basically telling, authority to go F itself and just doing their own thing and policing themselves and just kind of living that life. And I was like, I could get used to this. And, as the first month, second month, kind of went along, I realized, oh, wait a minute, I'm barely bringing in money. I mean, I was barely bringing in any kind of cash, all right? And I was able to survive. I was definitely able to survive. And again, that was another aspect to the freedom. Again, for the first months, the first year that I was here, I was eating a lot of beans. I was eating a lot of eggs. I was eating a lot of turkey hot dogs. That's what they have out here. They got regular hot dogs as well. Good stuff. But what I'm saying is that I was eating a lot of just really, really cheap stuff. You know what I mean? I was eating cup of noodles, whatever. Okay, a lot of people used to ask me back then. It's like, oh, Jose, you lost so much weight. What was your what is it? Your diet? I'm like, it's called starving. So that was, that's what I was. It's a great weight loss program. Bruh. I highly recommend it for anyone out there. That's looking to lose some weight. Just so. Anyways, the point I'm making is that I quickly realized, oh, wait a minute, I don't need that much money. If I made $1,000 a month, I was living large. I was like, oh man, that was an amazing month. The reality was, I was like making like maybe $500 to $600 a month if I was lucky, and that was enough. That was enough to pay my rent, pay my bills, have emergency fund. Again, you guys know my stories, and if you don't, was it like you should go check out my other older videos, but. Yeah, I was able to cover everything. I was able to go out, have drinks, every once in a while, not every day. Just go out and have some fun on a Friday, Saturday night, go on a date, with people out there, go out with friends, and just live a life, live a normal life, a, free life. Okay? And that's something that, again, as I was staying out here, as the months went on, I was like, man, there's no way in hell I could ever go back to the USA because I was barely bringing any money in, okay? And still, I was able to live an amazing life, okay? I was able to live a better life than I was ever able to live in the USA, all right? And this is the fact, all right? And that was with barely any resources, okay? So again, as the time went on, I was like quickly realizing, oh, wait a minute, this is amazing out here, this is really freedom. This is a real free country where you don't need much. You don't need, to keep up with the Joneses. You don't have all these crazy expenses and rules and regulations and just so many things that basically not only eat away at your finances, but eat away at your freedom and eat away at your sanity. All right. And, so as the time went on, you guys know, from the minute I landed here, I was filming my adventure, filming my life out here. And, immediately, within a few months, I was already, getting a bunch of people reaching out to me that they wanted to move out here and all this other stuff. Now, as the people started to move out here, now again, by the way, guys, I'm not, again, the guy that's, I'm not the main guy that's driving, so many foreigners to move to Mexico. There's tons of YouTubers from many countries doing the same thing. And again, me, just like I was inspired by a few other YouTubers that were living out here. Well, guess what? I inspired now a bunch of YouTubers. It's funny, when I look at, my recommendations, on my, my YouTube page, and, and I'm like, wow, who the hell are all these people, And then sometimes I'm looking at their content, I'm like, man, this looks exactly like my content. Hey, shout out to them. The point I'm making is that, I was able to inspire a lot of people, okay? And with that, there was a lot of people that moved out here for the wrong reasons, okay? I already explained to you my story, and I know a lot of you guys out there, well, you guys share a similar story or a similar situation, and so that's why you guys are inspired by me and my journey and my adventure and my life and my everything. And that's great. I love it. It makes me so happy that I get to, inspire so many of you guys. All right, you guys seeing that fly? Let's see if we can get them. Hold on. I'm starting to electrocute myself. It won't be the first time. Christian, every time I'm using that thing, Christian's like, get away from me with that thing. Bruh. No one can, I can't trust you around with that thing. Anyways, but yeah, as I was living here, there's many people that moved out here and many people that, again, loved what Mexico was all about, basically the freedom. Okay. Now, of course, with, certain things being a certain way out here, especially like, the low cost of living, that also gives you a lot more financial freedom. But that's not what we're really talking about here. It's like, why are you moving out here? For a lot of people, they're moving out here like me, like some of you guys out there, you're moving out here because, well, you want freedom. You're trying to escape from the insanity that is wherever you live. Now, again, I came out here basically 6 years ago. So back then, it was before the pandemic, before anything. And a lot of the things that I used to talk about, I was like, oh, look at that guy. That guy's a crazy conspiracy theory guy. Oh, geez, he's nuts. Don't watch his channel. Don't listen to him. That guy is just some crazy dude living out there in Mexico. But, again, 6 years later, after everything that's happened, I was like, oh, okay, I guess he was, ahead of the curve. I guess he was right. So again, as what that's all about. But at the end of the day, like there was many reasons as to why, I wanted my freedom, because I knew, all right, because of firsthand experience that, well, we were losing our freedoms. We lost our freedoms. They took away, they literally ripped it away from me. Okay. My freedoms. Okay. And, when I came to Mexico, I quickly realized, oh, wait a minute, I got all my freedoms here and then some. I have freedoms here that I didn't even know I had, that were possible, meaning, that's really what it was. And for me, it was amazing. It was an amazing journey and adventure. But like I was saying, as many people were starting to watch my videos or other videos from other people and started to move out here, for their own reasons, a lot of them, would watch my videos, right? They would come out here, and then all of a sudden, before you knew it, after a few months, they were hating life out here in Merida, which is where I live, but in other parts of Mexico, mainly in this region. And a lot of people would be complaining about, oh, it's so hot out here. Oh, it's, it's so expensive. Oh, I'm getting the gringo price, or I'm this. Oh, I can't find the comforts. Look, some of the first people that I met, were basically complaining to me because, I remember there's one dude in particular that he was like, oh man, this is the worst. I came out here for my retirement and you lied to me, Jose, because I went to the store and I wanted the brand new Sony, whatever TV, the 89-inch, whatever something TV, and they only have an 88-inch. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. And before I knew it, as I was getting more and more of those individuals, I started to get real sour, okay, about helping people out. Because it's like, well, wait a minute, this is not what I signed up for. I just came out here to be left alone. I came out here to live a life, live my normal life, basically escape tyranny and, find my freedom, which I found. And so every once in a while, I would bump into people like me, or people would reach out to me that were just like me, and it was great. Some of you guys I'm still friends with, We're still, buddies, and all that good stuff. But there are a lot of other people that came out here and they were just looking for, the fact that they wanted to continue. Okay. So what I've said before on this channel, where it was a lot of people, especially in the retirement age, because believe it or not, that's basically the only people that were moving out here for the longest time. A lot of people that were in the retirement age kind of subgroup, and then they would come out here, okay, so that they can live the life that they were promised in the USA. What do I mean? Well, in the USA, again, anyone that's like 70 years old, okay, give or take, up, 65, 70, whatever, and or 60, 65, 70, the retirement age, all right, boomer age, all right. I don't know what else to say, all right, but a lot of you guys, you guys worked your whole life. Basically, again, if you're 65 and you started working at 20, 18, let's just say 20 years old. I know you're probably working even younger, but let's just say 20 years old. That's 45 years. 45 years you dedicated to working your ass off. And you were promised, hey, don't worry, once you retire, you're going to have a fat retirement, a fat pension, fat 401k, blah, 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 blah. You'll be okay. You'll be fine. And for some of you guys, you're great. You did great. But for a lot of other people, that's not how it panned out at all. That's not how it turned out. In fact, it got to the point where, again, you're retired, you're getting your retirement check, your Social Security, your whatever it is, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait a minute, this is not enough. This is barely enough to pay rent in the USA, let alone buy food, let alone, spoil my grandkids, whatever. And so a lot of you guys, moved out here with that idea, that intention of like, well, no, I'm going to go and get what I was promised. And so you were promised, to be living in the lap of luxury in a castle, with every single thing, that you could ever want and desired, was going to be given to you like that. And then when that wasn't the reality, well, you looked to move elsewhere, and that's what a lot of you guys landed in Mexico. And when you landed in Mexico, you quickly realized that, wait a minute, if I want that lifestyle, well, it's going to cost me money. It's going to cost me, $3,000 or $4,000 at the very least. And a lot of people were not happy with the fact that, hey, you know what I mean? Like, with the fact that they probably had to live a life like me, a very humble and regular life. Which, again, it's kind of nuts because, a lot of people that are just basically getting like $1,000 or $1,500 a month, from Social Security, that's not enough in the USA for anything, let alone whatever. But then when you bring that money out here every month, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of resources. Again, I get, many Mexicans, basically leave comments or talk to me about the fact that they barely make, $1,000 a month, and that's more than enough to live a comfortable life. Now, of course, everyone always wants to make more money. That's very obvious, but we're just talking about that. Okay, the fact that you don't need much per se. You can just work in a regular job, have a regular life, and that's plenty for you to live very comfortably, okay? And but again, a lot of people, their version of comfort is completely different than my version of comfort. For me, comfort means, I have a roof over my head. I can have the air conditioner on right now when I'm doing a live stream. I can go to the grocery store and purchase whatever I want, without having to go to the grocery store and be like, man, I can't buy this. Man, I can't afford that. Man, I wish I could, whatever. No, I mean, literally, like, okay, tonight, okay, for dinner, we're having T-bones for dinner. Okay, we're having T-bone steaks for dinner. All right, and how much is a T-bone steak? Like $6. Like, come on, are you kidding me? And we're having T-bones and potato and some vegetables. And really, why did I choose that to make for dinner tonight? Well, I got a busy day. Christian has a busy day. She's getting ready for her art gallery opening in a few weeks. By the way, for anyone out there that's in town, all right, on March 14th, all right, and you want to join us, all right, for her gallery opening, please, join us, all right, at the gallery opening that she's having out in, whatchamacallit, by Parque Santa Ana, all right? But anyways, if you guys are interested, let me know, and, I'll put that information out there, as to where that's going to be for anyone that's in town. Whether you're visiting or living out here, so you can come, again, support her, support the artist. And if you want to meet me, I'll be there too. All right. So a little incentive, for some of you guys, that, probably want to say hi to me or meet me or whatever, So, but I digress. Like at the end of the day, we got a busy day. So I'm going to make, I was making an easy meal and that's it. We're just going to get some steaks. It's not a big deal. Like it's not, where in the USA, like you want a T-bone, it's probably going to cost you some money. Most of you guys are probably just eating cut up hot dogs with, Kraft macaroni and cheese, And so it's just things like that, the fact that, all these freedoms that come out here and it really just comes and boils down to, again, what you, consider freedom, what you consider comfort, and so on and so forth. And, a lot of people, they complain about, very high electric bills. They complain about, all of these unnecessary things that people are complaining about. Like, again, in fact, maybe you guys can help me in the comments, all right, in the chat, and tell me exactly what some of these, complaints are about life out here. Because again, it still blows my mind, that people say that Mexico's too expensive, that they got to spend $3,000 to $4,000 a month to live out here comfortably. I'm like, yeah, if you want to live like in the lap of luxury, if you want to live like the top upper 1% of Mexico, yeah, I guess, But if you want to live like everyone else, $2,000 is plenty of money to live extremely comfortable. All right. Again, most Mexicans live on under or less than $1,000. All right. So, all right. I lost my train of thought, so I'm just gonna go through the chat real quick, all right, and see what you guys have to say, about these topics, about everything I've been saying here. So, shout out to everyone out there. All right, so anyways, I see a lot of people in the chat, a lot of people viewing. Thank you for joining me today, and hope you guys are having fun and enjoying story time, enjoying my, everything I have to say here. Let me see. Yeah, speaking Spanish is okay. So Ralph Finkel says speaking Spanish is a huge help to be successful living in Mexico. Learning Spanish is very important, but at the same time, it's, you know, again, look, you guys already know, I interview a lot of people out here, and I'm going to be doing more and more of that as we go forward. But again, I've already interviewed Dave and Rebecca, and Dave and Rebecca have come out on the show multiple times. They're going to be, you know, they're going to be coming out in a special video tomorrow. By the way, I have a special video coming out tomorrow, so please check that out. Okay, and then I got my regular video on Sunday. But long story short, you know, them plus a bunch of other individuals, you know, like Greg and Katie, and I can go on and on. You know, they don't speak that well in Spanish. You know, they have a few phrases here and there. You know, and you know, they're trying very hard to learn Spanish. You know, obviously, you know, for many obvious reasons. But at the end of the day, you don't need to know a lot of Spanish, okay, in order to live frugally, in order to live, you know, very well and live a normal life out here. Again, both of those couples, okay, and there's many of other people that live out here, you know, they, like I said, they don't know that much Spanish, and they can survive on, you know, again, $1,500 or $1,000 a month. In fact, some of them even live on less than $1,000 a month, okay? So, because they bought their home, okay? The reason I have to, you know, spend around $1,000 or $1,500 a month is because, well, I rent, okay? I have to rent, all right? But again, when I see people that are paying, you know, $1,000 or $1,000, you know, plus, you know, to rent a place out here, it's kind of crazy. Because I don't pay that much, you know what I mean, at all. You know, and again, I've discussed many times that I pay a little over $300. And let's just say that, you know, I had to find another place and move somewhere else. I'm not paying any more than $500. Are you kidding me? You know, at $500 or less, all right? And this is the reality of it. So anyone paying more than that, well, you know, you got to ask yourself why you're paying more than that and what kind of home you're living in. Now, again, there's plenty of homes out here. By the way, you know, there's plenty of places out here where you can get a home, you know, rent a home, okay, that back in the USA would be like $2,000, $2,500 a month, and you can get that same home here for like around $1,000 a month or maybe less, okay? So that exists out there. So, for example, if you have a family with kids or you're making pretty good cheddar, you know, it's a little pretty good money out there, then yeah, you know, why not, you know, spend that money and rent a nice, super, you know, awesome house. But there's no need, you know, to overspend, okay? If all you're looking for is freedom and you're looking to be, and cost of living is a main important thing to you, then why are you spending that kind of money or going to Starbucks every day or doing all these things that you shouldn't be doing anyway, all right? But anywho's, yeah, speaking Spanish is important, but it's not the most important thing, okay? So, but like I was saying, you know, tomorrow I'm dropping a brand new video, okay? It's a sponsored video, but I think you guys are gonna love it. It's a regular video, okay? Just look at it like a normal regular video, but it's for a device, okay? That's really gonna help you guys learn Spanish very well. Again, there's only so much I can say. You know, the reality is that, you know, the device is so freaking amazing, okay, that it was surprising to me, surprising to Dave and Rebecca that helped me, you know, film the video. But we were out, you know, with the local people using it, and it was incredible how amazing it is. So long story short, you can just get with technology today, you can just get yourself a special device, you know, and talk to people, you know, and so it's not like you even have to learn Spanish, even though it's very, 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 very important. Yes, I totally agree. But learning Spanish is more for the immersion aspect of it. You know, if you really want to, you know, immerse yourself in the culture, if you really, 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 you know, want to be able to, you know, talk to the locals and enjoy life out here, you know, to the fullest, and yeah, of course, you know, you should learn Spanish, but it's not, you know, going to be a make or break when it comes to so many other factors, you know, like, let's say, cost of living, okay? Miguel says, bro, only the TB rate? I don't even know what TB is. And cartels are keeping me out of Mexico? Why? You know what I mean? Like, the cartels are not, you know, they're not affecting, you know, safety to anyone out there. Look, this is one thing I want to say to everyone out there, since I got everyone's attention. The cartels do not give a shit about you, okay? They don't give a crap about your measly, you know, Social Security. They're not looking to kidnap you so that, you know, they can take away your Social Security check or whatever crap you have, okay? Again, many people that are moving out here don't have much, okay? So why are they going to rob someone that doesn't have much. When again, if you know anything about how Mexico works out here, which again, if you watch my channel on a regular basis, you know more about that. They're more interested in setting up a business, okay, and getting your money that way. All right, so. That's really what they're interested in. They're not interested in, doing any kind of harm to their customers. They would rather you, go to the store and buy things, just get money that way. So they don't care, okay? They don't care about you. They don't care about anyone out there, in that sense, okay? They're not affecting any, boomer, expat, foreigner out there in any way, shape, or form, okay? Because trust me, you know this, we all know this, okay? If any one of them, were to, do anything to one of us, it would be all over the news. It would be all over the mainstream media. It would be, come on. They wouldn't be able to, get it off the news, okay? That would be like as much, they would cover it so much, again, just to give even more negative publicity to Mexico, and more negative news, and more, again, that whole thing. But again, as people are figuring it out, as the years have gone on, people are realizing that Mexico is extremely safe, especially when you compare it to, the insanity that's going on in the USA at the moment. Are you kidding me? It's a lot safer out here than it is over there. All right. And this is the fact. Okay. There's no, I don't want to get into the extreme details, but what happens over there. You live over there. None of that happens over here at all, period. All right. So, but yeah, Miguel is like basically asking, is like you, like he goes, like you, I am tired of over accountability for every little thing and unsolvable issue. Okay. I'm Mexican American. Where are the best spots to avoid Americans? Listen, they're everywhere. I don't, just stay away from all the touristy areas, and stay away from, basically stay away from the expat enclaves. You'll know them. Once you're out here, you'll know them, because it's just like everything else. When you go to the USA, when you're in the USA and you're in any major city, they have places like Little Havana, Little Haiti, right? Chinatown, and Little Japan, whatever, all right? So that's the thing, it's as simple as that. Once you're out here, you get to quickly figure out, okay, there's Little America over there. Some places are, have more American retirees and expats than other places. But, expats that are, or foreigners that are my age, give or take, in their 40s, maybe younger, maybe a little older, we don't, we kind of just spread out. We're living amongst the people. I live in a Mexican neighborhood, with a bunch of Mexicans. In recent years, in recent months, there's been a few more foreigners, moving around to this area. And I could tell, like there's some Canadians that moved not too far from here, like a block down. And I get to see that, they're basically like, a deer in headlights, every time they step out of their house. And it's like, I could tell that they hate it out here, and they just moved out here because, well, they don't want to live in Canada anymore. And again, that's not the right reason to move out here. And, they're going to be hating it, just like a lot of people end up hating it, living out here, because they don't move out here for the right reasons. They just want to be comfortable. And so they don't like, how things are going in their own country. And they just want to keep living the same life that they've always lived, and they don't want to do anything about it. So what do? Well, they move to another country and they export. They bring that as an export, their bad attitude, their bad behavior, their disdain for others. And I can go on and on and on and on. And so they move out here and they see things are very different out here. People are friendly. People are nice. It's a different world out here, and they just never get acclimated, and they hate it. And then they think that, again, by moving to another part of Mexico, moving to another place, things are going to change. They're not. And so, that's the thing. Like when it comes to safety, at the very least, Mexico is extremely safe, especially compared to the USA these days. It's just the truth. So, Baron Von Crunch says, Jose, I love your Sunday video with Katie. Oh, so happy. Glad you like it. By the way, I hope you like this Sunday's video, because this Sunday, I went to a pueblo to have a big celebration. We were celebrating Carnival, or basically Mardi Gras, out here. And I did a video on that. And it was awesome. It was one of the best times I've ever had living out here. And I hope you guys really enjoy that video, because again, it really shows you, a side of Mexico that most people are just not aware of. And that, by the way, you can experience. And you don't need much Spanish. Again, the more Spanish you know, the better. And the easier it will be to, be able to experience these things, okay? But at the end of the day, it's all about a want and a desire and a willingness to, open up and participate. And again, basically it's a new culture, it's a new life, and you got to get used to that. And, for me, it was very easy, to, get used to all that and embrace all that, because, well, I never really ever fit in the USA. I thought I was the crazy one, but as soon as I moved to Mexico and I started experiencing Mexico, I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is awesome. This is great. Finally, a home. Finally, a place where I can really fit in and feel at home and feel loved and feel, amazing. And so for me, that's why I love it out here so much. But for a lot of people, they're never gonna, they're never gonna experience that. Well, because they're not even looking for that. Okay. By the way, don't forget to please hit the like button, right? To see if this thing is gonna work. I got like a little algorithm thing here. It doesn't always work. Is it working? There we go. Hey! All right. So anyways, shout out to everyone out there. Don't forget to, hit the like button, share, share with a friend, share with an enemy, whatever, But yeah, by the way, so I'm glad that a lot of you guys are really loving a lot of the newer videos that I'm making, and with the interviews and going out of the bubble, the comfort zones, and sharing with you guys even more about what makes Mexico great and awesome. And not from necessarily a touristy perspective, just more about, again, there's so many other YouTubers out there that basically talk about and interview a bunch of foreigners and expats that, hate it out here, or that can't survive out here, or that think it's too expensive, or whatever. All right. Well, I'm doing the opposite. Okay. I'm a positive guy. All right. So I'm trying to do the complete opposite of that, which is, again, share, stories and experiences of people that live out here, that love it out here, and that, again, are surviving, not just surviving, but thriving. Again, Katie is a really good example. She came out here as a retiree, and she just, again, planned on, doing some watercolors. And before you know it, she's part of the community, doing all kinds of community things, and she's in an art gallery. And look, by the way, she painted that. That's Gizmo. That was a gift that she gave me. All right. It's in the video. All right. And so on and so forth. So, she wasn't really trying. All she was just trying to do was like enjoy her retirement, again, enjoy her freedom and live life. And it's all here. And does she speak fluent Spanish? No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. She speaks, barely enough Spanish, just enough to get by. And same as her husband, Greg, and again, Dave and Rebecca. And I got so many other friends out there, okay, that, just live out here. I don't mention everybody because not everybody wants to be mentioned on camera, or live on stream. But I know plenty of friends. In fact, a lot of the friends that I have out here that are foreigners, are friends, like they landed in Mexico kind of like I did. Okay, one shape, form, or another, and they weren't looking at, videos on, moving to Mexico or anything like that. In fact, a lot of my friends, my really good friends, they're like ex-military, and they basically have already lived abroad. They understand that there's other cultures out there, better cultures out there, all right? And they, have always wanted to live elsewhere. So, well, they've already kind of like stepped out of their bubble a long time ago when they were in the military. And by the way, my age or so, give or take. And so a lot of them just end up out here, not just in this part of Mexico, but all over Mexico, all over the world. Back in the day, they used to call it going bamboo. I don't know for any, older people out there that know what I'm talking about, but yeah, I went bamboo. A lot of my friends, that I know and, again, hang out with and chill with, on a regular basis are people that they didn't even know I did YouTube until I told them I did YouTube, okay? A lot of them were just out here because they were already out here. That's it. They left a long time ago. Or they left, around the same time I left or whatever, all right? So, the reality is that, out here, in Mexico, it's just a completely different, life. It's a completely different adventure. And for a lot of people that are really seeking, freedom, that are really seeking, to live a better life. Like I said, you're going to see on Sunday what I mean by that. Meaning that, you can just go to a small village that's having a festival and join the festival. That's it. You know what I mean? Like whatever, you know what I mean? Or again, like there's always celebrations out here. In fact, I was, I was joking around with Christian the other day because again, there's always something to celebrate out here. They're always, taking days off, whatever it is. And I'm like, man, you guys have more holidays than the Jews, By the way, shout out to all my Jewish friends out there. I know you can't even say certain words or certain things out there, but, Jewish people, the running joke is the fact that they have holidays every other day. They're always, with holidays here and there. So guess what? The Catholic Mexicans also have constant holidays, okay? And it's not just for Catholic, celebrations. A lot of it, they're celebrating Constitution Day. They're celebrating freedom. They're celebrating Independence Day. It's a lot of, just sometimes they're just celebrating, government type, not government, but like, freedom loving, whatchamacallit, holidays, okay? We're in the USA. I mean, every day, when it comes to things like that, they have less and less, days off and less, days to celebrate. And again, a lot of people just say that they're Jewish, in order to get, days off, or at least have the excuse that, so they can have, more days off and things like that. Where in Mexico, it's not like that at all. You know what I mean? In Mexico, everyone has days off all the time, constantly celebrating all the time. Fiestas, the whole thing. So, let me see. Let me read a few comments here. See, look, there you go. Look, Brandon Garcia. Look, this is the kind of mentality that, it's okay. So Brandon Garcia says, bro, I got 27K to my name, 2 vehicles, and just me. I want to move to Mexico so bad. And I'm Mexican born in Los Angeles, but I need a home to own. Why do you need a home to own? Why? And I mean, right off the bat, again, I get it. I want a home to own. A lot of people want a home to own. But why is that the reason, the one thing that's stopping you from moving out here? And especially since you're a Mexican citizen, because you are a Mexican citizen from what you just said there, and you have 27K. You know how much money that is in Mexican pesos? That's a lot. So you can come out here and live extremely comfortably, set yourself up. In fact, you can probably sell your 2 vehicles, and have a few more bucks, have like around 1 million pesos. But anyways, long story short, is that you can come out here and rent a home, rent a place, live a Mexican life, travel, do all kinds of things. And then eventually, once you set yourself up, all right, and start earning money here, okay, whether it's, through an online, digital nomad thing, or you set up a business here, or whatever it is you do, eventually, if you work enough, you'll be able to, again, buy a home. And if you don't, you can rent. It's not a big deal. But that's the thing. It's like, what I feel is that, people, not only are they always looking for an excuse as to why not to come, because I was one of them as well. Okay, like I said, when I had a lot of money and resources and all this other stuff, I always wanted to leave the country. And I never did, because I was always afraid or making excuses. But when I was my back was up against the wall, again, for those of you guys that listened to my story earlier, and I didn't have a choice except, again, live on the street, live out of my car. Again, hit the like button. Okay, now we got the algorithm working. Anyways, here, let's see if we can get like the other thing to work. But anyways, I was out here. Is it gonna do it now? Hey, now I'm distracted by the stupid thing. All right, maybe not. Anyways, now do it. Hey. Okay. Anyways, but at the end of the day, when I didn't have a choice, and it was, again, it's either live on the street, live in a tent, live in a car, or move to Mexico. I was like, all right, I'm out. And I left with nothing, no resources, no nothing, all right? And I figured it out. So why wait until something like that happens? You have a lot of money and resources, and, you speak Spanish, I think, and you're Mexican. So what are you waiting for? To what? Buy a home? Just move to Mexico. And by the way, 27K, depending on the part of Mexico you're in, but you should be able to buy a home for that. You could technically buy a home for that, somewhere. You know, probably not in the most desirable places, but there's plenty of places in Mexico where you can definitely buy a home for that kind of money. So again, you know, that's, you know, like the things I'm kind of talking about. You know, what is the real reason you want to move out here? Is it the right reason or not? You know, and again, stop making excuses, stop making whatever. Just do it. It's not going to get any better where you're at the moment. And it's only going to get, you know, more difficult to do so, to move out here, you know, and to establish yourself out here, you know, the longer you wait. So, Jesse Robles says, I want to be fully retired at 45. Everybody does. Everybody does, okay? And just live from the internet, from my cash. If you bring 400K to Mexico, you can definitely do it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. You know, or you can do it with, you know, again, $1,000 to your name like I did, you know? You don't need a 400K. You know, 400K is great, but it's not necessary. You know, in fact, 400K, you can survive just about anywhere except for like Dubai, you know, or, you know, certain parts of Europe or the USA or Canada. But 400K US dollars, I mean, that's like almost $500,000, man. That's a lot of fucking money. So, and again, what is retirement? You know, look, ever since I was a chef, okay, a cook, okay, ever since I lived that life, I never made that much money. You know, I didn't have like the successful, crazy career, you know, when it came to all that. But I was always like in my mindset, you know, in my mind, and I was in the mindset that I was living my retirement. What do I mean by that? Well, I was enjoying what I did. Because I would see so many of my other friends from, I don't know, high school, other friends that I had, cousins, you know, family members, and they all did a job that they really, really, really hated. And they were just, again, going through the motions so they can get that money, so they can get their retirement, so they can eventually, after 45 years of hard labor at the labor camp, you know, they will be able to retire, you know, again, put out to pasture. And I was like, no, wait a minute. You know, I'm choosing to live my retirement now. And again, when you look at it, it's like, well, what was retirement? You know, what do people consider retirement? Oh, they get to party, they get to drink, they get to have fun, they get to go on trips and travel. Well, listen, I did all that, you know, as a cook, I did all that. You know, where many people can't do all that, okay? And I did that basically every day, all right? Trust me, I've done every drug in the book. I've drank, you know, so many people under the table, and I've been drunk under the table. I've, you know, traveled, you know, as much as I could. I've done all kinds of crazy shit. You know, in fact, I got so many adventures. In fact, if you guys want to hear one of my adventures, you know, again, shameless plug real quick. You know, you guys want to hear one of my adventures, you know, go check out Jose Unleashed. Once we're done with this live stream, we're going to go over there. Again, it's a brand new channel, okay? I'm going to put the link in the chat so you guys can go check it out. But again, see, look, the title of today's live stream is Getting Thrown Out of Disney Isn't What It Used to Be. So like I said, you know, I lived that life. And so I wanted to maintain living that life, you know, going forward. And that's why I left the USA when I left. Because I was like, okay, that's not a feasible thing anymore here in the USA, you know, to continue living, you know, the life that I want to live, all right? And so that's why I came out here to continue the adventure. So the whole thing of retired, I've been retired. I've been retired since I was in my 20s, I guess. But, you know, a lot of people, when they consider or you know, kind of talk about, you know, being retired, it's more about, oh, I want to have a lot of money and do nothing. Listen, that's not a life, okay? That is no life. Trust me, I've been there. I've done that, and like again, I thought I was depressed and unhappy with my life when I was just, you know, again, a working schmo, you know, working as a cook and doing all these things and barely making enough every week, you know, living paycheck to paycheck and then some. And then eventually I moved to Seattle, and I was able to make a lot of money and live in an ivory tower, you know, and live that amazing, you know, life that everybody always dreams of. And I was even more depressed and unhappy then because when you're poor and you got nothing, you're always thinking the grass is greener on the other side. Oh, as soon as I get money, as soon as I have that, you know, all these things, I'm gonna be happy. But guess what? I got all those things. Like a lot of people get all these things, and then they realize, oh, wait a minute, I'm even more miserable now because now I don't have that excuse anymore of once I get rich, once I get money, I'm gonna be fine. No, it's not like that at all. Again, it's a lot of work. A lot of the work that people don't want to do is on themselves, okay? The work that you don't get paid for is on yourself. You got to be happy with you. You got to be happy with yourself. You got to be happy with, your life. Look, going back to like what happened to me in Texas, they kind of like, started the whole thing for me to eventually get out here a few years after that. I remember when I got arrested and I was in jail, all right, that first night in jail, all right, besides trying to figure out how I can sleep so my butt wasn't exposed, it's jail. Anyways, but at the end of the day, I was just laying there, looking up at the sky, actually looking up at the top bunk, of the other guy that was sleeping there. And I was, just the biggest smile came onto my face, because up until that point, I was lost. I was miserable. I didn't know where my life was going. I didn't have any direction, even though I had money in the bank and I had all this stuff. But as soon as that happened, I knew that, my God, rock bottom had not even hit yet. I knew that I was on my way down to hit rock bottom. Okay, I was again, like throwing yourself out of a plane. That first night in jail, I was literally still, and I was with the biggest smile on my face, because I knew that once I splat on the ground and I hit that rock bottom, well, then guess what? It's all going to be up from there. All right. And I didn't know where my life was going to take me. I didn't know what the whole adventure was going to be. I didn't know. The last thing I was ever expecting was to end up in Mexico, especially then. But again, just having that positive mentality, always, knowing what you want. Okay. And, which I started to know at that point what I wanted, which was my freedom. Okay. And I could go on and on, you know what I mean? And that's really what got me to get to where I am today. And continue going forward. What I'm doing now, with the interviews and all this other stuff is stuff that I wanted to do years ago, but I just didn't have the cojones, the balls to do. And now I'm doing it. So, sometimes you got to be put in the worst possible situation so you can really realize and understand how good you actually have it and how lucky you actually are. And, the whole idea of retirement, or, I need to not work anymore to retire. No, listen, no. I'm retired, but I put in a lot of work, okay? Retirement is basically a state of mind, meaning, can I wake up whenever I want? Yes. Can I eat whatever I want? Yes. Do I have a roof over my head? Yes. Do I have a beautiful wife and an amazing, partner in life? Yes. Do I have an amazing dog, sometimes behaves, and misbehaves? Yes. I got a horse. I even got a horse. I mean, come on. So, it's all about, you're taking control of your mind and taking control, of, what you really want, having those difficult conversations with yourself, and really, exploring things and going deep down the hole that you might not want to go down, okay? And putting in that work that a lot of people don't want to do. And so that's the thing. That's why a lot of people, when they come out here to Mexico, they got what they thought they wanted, and then they quickly realize, oh my God, I hate it out here, because you didn't come out here for the right reasons. If you're coming out here because, again, you want freedom, you want to, again, have, neighbors that you can talk to and that care about you, a community that cares about you, friendly people, a more relaxed lifestyle, and all these things. Well, then, yeah, you're going to love it out here. You're going to love Mexico, if you love tacos, whatever. Anyways, but there's many reasons, but if you're just coming out here because you want to save a few bucks, or I'm so over the tyranny and I'm so over the USA, blah, 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 but then you come out here and you bring that with you, meaning, you hate a lot of the things about the USA, but then you come out here and you're trying to tell Mexicans how to live their life. You're trying to say that, gentrification is a bad thing. It's like, bro, have you asked the Mexican? Have you asked them? They seem to be enjoying their frappes, and they seem to be enjoying, their iPhones, and they seem to be enjoying the brand new car that they're driving. Why are you out here saying that they don't want these things? They do. Obviously, they do. They want to eat at McDonald's. They want their chicken nuggies. Whatever. Just because you don't want it, just because you have a certain, trauma when it comes to these things, it doesn't mean that they don't want it. And so on and so forth. There's just so many things. And so, it's about coming out here and, again, culturally immersing yourself into the, what is it like? What's the word I'm looking for? It's about coming out here and really integrating into life out here and into the culture out here, okay? And not trying to, impose your ways of life out here on people that don't want it. And by the way, it doesn't go with everything. Like, for example, I love American football. Mexicans talk to me about American football. They want to know more about American football and so many other aspects. Whether it's rock and roll, whatever. There's many aspects of American culture that Mexicans love. What they don't love, okay, is, again, the Karens, that come out here and, start, wanting to dictate how things should be, the ones that are demanding the police, to, do X, Y, Z, the ones that are, all about the rules and the regulation. Oh, how come they don't throw trash on the street? Oh, how come they don't have a building, permit for their whatever? Oh, how come they're making so much noise? Listen, get the F out of here, okay? That's the thing. Are you moving out here for the right reasons? And are you going to be embracing Mexico for all its awesomeness? Or is Mexico going to chew you up and spit you out? Because, they don't care about you. You're just going back to the cartels. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. I mean, think about it. Just, let's do a quick little funny meme here, a little funny, skit. But think about it. Do you think the cartel is looking to, kidnap Karen that's going to be complaining and yelling and acting? No, listen, and has no money and thinks that she's better than. No, listen, man. No, they don't want to. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a whole thing, okay? People out there, they think they're more important than they actually are. They have all these, ideas of who they are, what they are, even, again, as an, elitism, whatever it is. And it's just so freaking hilarious. You know what I mean? Again, when you see the typical Mexican, a lot of times they're like, look at these idiots. Look at that. They think they're better than us. They can't make it in their own country, and then they're coming out here and, they can't make it out here either. You know what I mean? It's like, are you kidding me? You look at, grandma, with like $200, $300 a month, and she's making it just fine. And these people can't make it on $3,000 a month. So, no, I mean, it is hilarious. To me, I'm not going to lie. It's hilarious, okay? Hilarious, okay? So let's see. You have rights says, we only have a right to self-defense if the government helps and agrees with you. That is, it is defense rights are based on opinion because the majority. See, look, the thing is, it's like, you know what I mean? Out here in Mexico, man, it's like, listen, man, rules and laws and all that stuff are just kind of like suggestions, and sometimes they're enforced. Most of the time they're not. And it's really about how you comport yourself and how you behave yourself, whether or not, you're going to really be able to exercise your rights or not. I've never seen anyone have any kind of problem out here exercising their rights, okay? In fact, there's a friend, he's not a friend, okay? He's just somebody I know from YouTube. There's another guy out there named Gavin Syme, and he's moved out here, over 6 years ago. Shout out to him. He was a major inspiration for me moving out here as well. But he came out here for freedom, okay? And he's loved it out here. Everything's been great. Everything's been wonderful. But he, okay, was stopped by some corrupt police, okay? And long story very recently, okay? And he got into it with them. And basically, they illegally arrested him. They illegally, did a bunch of illegal things to him. And, long story short, you know what I mean? Like, they arrested him and they had to release him within a couple hours, with their tail between their legs. And now, most of them are probably going to get fired as he, proceeds with legal proceedings to go after these, bad hombres. See, a lot of people are always, scared of the cartel. You should really just be scared of the police, just like in the USA, all right? The police out here, they're out here to extort you and basically take advantage of, again, your dumb ass, that doesn't know their rights and doesn't know their everything. But, even in the case of Mr. Gavin, he, they put him through the ringer. Because basically he challenged their authority, all right? He said, no, I am not going to be kissing your boot. And he went off on a tangent. And now those individuals that, arrested him and did those things to him, now they're going to have a price to pay. Most likely, they're going to be paying by losing their job, okay? And it is what it is. It's just, nothing is perfect. Things happen. It's a different life. But in the USA, if you just look at the police the wrong way, you already know. You already know you're gonna get like, they're gonna make you look like Swiss cheese. They're gonna, put 8,000 bullets in your ass, all right? Just simply because, you looked at them the wrong way, or you scared them, or you this, or you that, or you whatever, okay? And so, again, I don't want to get into all that. At the end of the day, there are things about Mexico that are not perfect, but compared to the USA, are you kidding me? Same as Gavin, will take the cops and the corrupt cops out here any day, okay, over what they have over there. And the thing is that out here, again, even though Gavin, knew his rights, by the way, his Spanish is getting really well, really good. And anyways, even though he knew his rights, he was speaking to them in Spanish, he was, going down the fucking thing, those cops did not want to hear it. And they basically, tried to make an example out of him. And they failed. You know what I mean? So, okay, again, that's not how it works in the USA. So, again, things are going to happen. Many times, look, I've told you guys, I have encountered a bunch of shitty cops out here, okay? Even though I'm living in the safest city in Mexico, listen, they're out there, all right? And I have encountered, plenty of shitty cops out here. And most of the time, being an angry Cuban that knows his Spanish, knows his rights, refuses to comply, because, again, I know my laws and I know my rights. Listen, they leave you alone. They're like, all right, this guy, he's not going to go down easy. And all we want is, either to harass him or extort him out of some money or do something like that. So, this guy's already too much work and they let me go. A lot, man, I can go on with all the stories I've had, okay, with, individuals out here like that. But, at the end of the day, I have confronted multiple cops out here that have tried to, again, what is it, like, put their boot on my neck, or at the very least, what is it, oh man, what's the word I'm looking for? What is it? Exercise their authority over me. I'm like, no, buddy. No, but you're a public servant, my guy. What are you doing? What are you kidding me? You go put your boot on that guy's neck. Go and, by the way, don't forget to hit the likes. Go scare that guy. Go extort that other guy. You want something from me? You're going to have to take it. We're going to have to go down. And by the way, out here, sometimes, like, let's say that the cop, is trying to get difficult with you. Listen, you get in a fist fight with the guy, and oh, man. I've seen so many videos of Mexicans. Basically, the Mexicans are doing illegal things, okay? Like, I saw this one video not too long ago where it was a Mexican that was parked in a loading zone, okay? Parked in a loading zone, okay? So he was already doing something illegal. And not just that, but impeding traffic, all this stuff, okay? And the cop was basically telling him, hey, can you move your car? And the guy's like, F you, I don't got to move my car. I'm going to do whatever I want. And basically they went back and forth, and they got into it. They got into a fight, like an actual physical fight. And it wasn't until another cop showed up and pulled them away, separated them, and basically said, all right, leave this asshole alone. And they let the guy park there, okay? The guy was not arrested. The guy was, car's not towed. Nothing happened. And he was in the wrong. You get what I'm saying? So Mexico's a completely different country, okay? It's a completely different world. And for a lot of people that move out here, they can't stand that. They can't even fathom, a world in which the police are not, these monster, arbiters of authority where they can just, do all kinds of horrible things to you. And so that's why I love it out here. And that's why I know it's safer out here. Because I know there's no way in hell that any cop is ever going to, kill me. That's a major, that's like a normal part of life in the USA. You know what I mean? Like, or arrest me and put me in the system and for the stupidest thing, like they did, and they've done to you, or that somebody. Again, in the USA, everybody knows somebody that's been arrested or in jail or, or on drugs or, come on. That's not like that out here at all. All right. And then when you go to the villages and you go to the pueblos, the towns, they have even less power. Now, again, some of them might be even more corrupt, but at the end of the day, it's a different world. Okay. And it's not, again, and that's why you see a lot of communities, like it's basically they're choosing between the cartel or the corrupt cops. All right. And a lot of them always pick the cartel because the cartel's not out there trying to extort you, trying to rob you. Okay. No. Again, they want to keep the peace so you can go and, to their shop and buy their things. They're more about, hey, let's continue this capitalism thing. It seems to be going pretty well, all right? As opposed to the cops, which, again, they're just, don't get me started, okay? Obviously, you can tell I'm not a fan, all right? But it's a different world out here. It's a completely different world out here. And, in fact, in some pueblos and villages, they don't even have cops or cartel. The people just police themselves. They kicked everybody out, okay? And, I know that, there's all these gun laws and all these other things out here. But again, like those things are only enforced of, like, let's say you're in the city, okay, and you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing. Okay, they're going to enforce that. But if you're out in the middle of nowhere, in a village or a town, no one's enforcing anything. And especially if there's no authority to enforce anything. Okay? All right? Capiche? So again, it's a different world out here. It's a different world. And so, people coming out here and be like, whatever. No, just if you're coming out here, just realize that in order for you to survive out here, you got to live like the Mexicans, okay? And it's not just to live, like the Mexicans, humble home, humble life. No. It means that you got to, at a moment's notice, you got to stand up for your right. You got to protect your own rights. And again, some parts of Mexico, they do this more than others. If you go to Oaxaca, Chiapas, there's other parts of Mexico, Guerrero, where it's like, are you kidding me? Guerrero literally means, that's a state, okay? That's the name of the state. Guerrero literally means warrior. Like I'm gonna fight. Like I'm a fighter, okay? So, some of these places in Mexico, like that's part of their MO. That's part of their whole thing. Okay, they're constantly fighting authority and pushing back on authority, and that's what I'm trying to get at. You know what I mean? It's about freedom is not free. In order for you to have freedom, you got to fight for that freedom. If you don't fight for that freedom and you delegate that responsibility to a government entity or some other entity, they're gonna just take advantage of it. Like they are, because again, most of you guys, you're not happy with how things are going in your own country, right? Where they've taken away all your rights and there's no semblance of, again, having the rights that you thought that you used to have, okay, or had, or whatever, okay? So anyway, sorry about my rant. Again, as you guys can tell, I'm not a fan of authority. Not that I'm anti-authority or anti-government or any of that. No, I'm not. I'm just anti, their, abuse of power. I'm not a fan of that at all. And most Mexicans are not at all as well, okay? Period. End the story, all right? And so that's the thing, you know what I mean? Like in the USA and in Canada, they've already lost that whole semblance of having to fight for your freedom and fight for your right. Whether they've been, numbed or subdued to the point where they don't want to do that anymore, or the fact that they've been over-regulated with so many laws and rules and so many things like that where, again, you can't even fight the system even if you wanted. By the way, just going back all the way to the beginning of the live stream, when I was saying about, why I didn't go back to Texas, ever, in order to stand in front of a judge, it's like, no, I know how they abuse authority out here and how things are and that you don't have any rights anymore and that things are a certain way, and I don't want to get into all that. So I was like, no, listen, I know my rights enough where I can, stay in California, all right, and hit the likes, and just send, a lawyer to represent me, all right, and use a proxy to represent me. I don't need to be there, go ahead. You wanna throw the proxy in jail? Go ahead. You're not gonna throw me in jail for nothing, and so on and so forth. And by the way, eventually, part of my move to Mexico was because, look, a lot of people might talk a lot of crap out there about me and say, oh, he escaped the law. Oh, listen, I can go back to the USA. I can go to the U.S. Embassy. I got nothing, all right? There's nothing, I legally got my rights back, okay? And how did I legally have to do that? I had to pay a lot of money. I had to buy my freedom back. But the only way I was really able to finish that process off and do that was in Mexico. Because when I was in the USA, when I was even in California, they were constantly threatening to send Dog the Bounty Hunter, not him exactly, but people out there to come and collect and come and put me in jail if I didn't pay XYZ by XYZ date and yada, 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 yada. But when I was in Mexico, well, they knew that their bullshit laws and bullshit, whatever, wasn't enough, for them to come out here and extradite me or come after me. Okay? Because, by the way, watch Dog the Bounty Hunter. He did an episode where he went into Mexico to try and get somebody over some crap. And basically, you know, Dog got arrested and deported. Okay? So it's the same thing. They know that. And so that's why when I was out here, now all of a sudden when I was dealing with the authorities in Texas, listen, they had to play ball. Because all they wanted was my money. And all I wanted was a piece of paper that said, you know, all charges were dropped and that we fucked up. And guess what? As of when I was in Mexico, I was able to negotiate. And now, you know, I was the one with the upper hand. And guess what? I got my little paper, you know, where all cases, you know, everything was dismissed and everything was whatever, I got the same thing that Hunter Biden got. I forgot what it was. You know, he got some something aversion. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, I got that, okay? And not only did I get that, but, you know, I got the receipts to prove it. And I was able to do that here, well, because all they wanted was my money, and all I wanted was that piece of paper, and they knew that I wasn't, you know, gonna, you know, play that game, because, again, I went to the extreme of moving to Mexico. So I was like, okay, whatever. You know, we want to keep extracting the money out of this guy so we can finish this process off and give him the stupid paper that he wants. And that's it. So, yeah, no, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of, you know, the prison industrial complex and all that stuff, all right? So, anyways, I apologize for that whole, you know, that whole rant there. Jeez, you know, I went off on a tangent there. Jesus. All right. I'm going to go and look through the chat. By the way, please, guys, if you guys are enjoying today's content and you want to see more insanity like you are seeing right now, please go to Jose Unleashed. Go subscribe, okay, to the channel, please. And hit the bell icon so you don't miss a thing. But I'm going to be going live there within an hour, give or take, you know, half an hour to an hour. You know, we still got to finish this one off here. But we're going to be going live over there, all right? And we're going to be talking about, you know, getting thrown out of Disney isn't what it used to be, all right? So we're going to be talking about that. So again, if you enjoy my story so far, you're definitely going to enjoy that story, you know, because that's what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about, you know, a specific story that happened to me when I was out there. But obviously, we're going to go in depth and do all this. I'm not going to be getting into, you know, what you think I'm going to be getting into. Okay, it's comedy. We're going to have some fun over there. So please, I would love for you guys to join me if you guys are enjoying this so far. Go hang out, you know, go meet me over there, and we're going to have some fun talking about all of that. And by the way, oh yeah, I'll save it. I don't want to spoil anything, all right? So I'll see you guys there later. All right, let me see. Let me go through the chat real quick. David says, will they demand ID from a 67-year-old man to buy alcohol? No, man. No. You know, are you kidding me? Why would they? In fact, the legal drinking age in Mexico is 18 and over. All right, so don't worry. As long as you look over 18, they're not going to, you know, what is it like? You're not gonna, you know, they're not gonna ask you for ID. And it's a different thing out here. You know, out here, you know, basically, if they sell you alcohol as a kid, you know, the only one that you're gonna be dealing with is an angry mom that's probably gonna come to the store and be, you know, getting mad at you and demanding, you know, why you sold my kid alcohol. But look, I'm gonna tell you right now, especially like if you go to villages and pueblos in certain areas like that. You know, a lot of times, you know, you're like a kid, you know, 13, 14-year-old kid, and your dad might send you to the store to go buy a six-pack for him. Okay? All right. So, yeah, no, again, it's a different world out here, right? Let me see. Hold on, let me play a little music in the background while we go through the chat. By the way, please ask me anything right now, okay? If there's anything that you want me to talk about or kind of touch on real quick before we head out, let me know. Let me see. See, Raw Beef says Acapulco has citizen-manned checkpoints that don't allow any police for rallies or politicians into the city. There you go. And look, it's not just in Acapulco. And Acapulco, I think, is in Guerrero, right? But in Oaxaca as well, and many other places as well. In fact, in Chiapas right now, which Chiapas is the area that's really close to Guatemala, because of the whole immigrant crisis and all that going on. They have a lot of federal agents down there. Not federal agents, sorry. Federales, which are the federal, what is it? They are the National Guard, okay? So they got the National Guard that's teamed up with immigration to kind of like, try to control that situation, all right? But again, the cartels are the ones that run that whole operation. So it's like, how are they going to control it? Again, you should look into some videos as to, how the cartel, basically, what is it, has the whole, but basically get the migrants from point A to point B, all the way from Guatemala all the way up north, and it's insane. And by the way, there's tons of YouTubers out there, like Bald and Bankrupt, for example, and many other YouTubers, that have, done the journey themselves and have shown the journey. And, there's, tons of information on that out there in English, okay? And you will be surprised, okay? Your jaw will drop, okay? In fact, it's very lucrative business, all right, to say the least. And again, when they're shipping you from point A to point B, they're giving you food, they're giving you, again, tents, housing, to live in, and basically kind of like, making the journey as easy as possible. And again, I'm not here condoning any behavior on any of this stuff, okay? And I'm not here to discuss whether it's right or wrong, or the immigrant crisis that's happening in the USA, whether it's right or wrong. I understand that it's a major problem that the USA is having, but you guys already know. You guys already know what's going on out there and how that needs to be fixed, okay? Most Americans are not anti-immigration. They're just anti what's going on right now, all right? And so, you can even see in interviews and, when they talk to local Mexican politicians, or even the president, or the person that's going to be the next president, or they talk to, the cartel themselves, and they basically say, look, the reason we're doing this is because there's business, there's money to be had. That's it. You know what I mean? If this was not a business, meaning that there was nothing to gain out of, bringing all these people to the USA, then why would we do this? We would just go back to drugs and avocados. So, by the way, yes, like the cartel, that's what they do. They basically sell avocados, and then they have all major businesses out here in Mexico, and they're a major component of how everything works out here, okay? Just like the mafia was at one point in the USA, before the CIA and the FBI took over. Anyways. But what do I know? Don't listen to me. I'm just some dumbass on YouTube with a fake plastic horse, okay? Don't listen to me. I don't know anything, okay? Just read a history book. Watch a documentary, and you'll see. You'll see what Uncle Jose's saying is not that crazy, all right? It's pretty well documented, in fact. See, there you go. Baron Von Crunch says, my father-in-law in Puebla, used to sell beer and cigarettes from his house. Neighbors would send their kids over to buy them constantly. Yeah, I mean, So. Yeah, Ralph Finkel says, I had to pay a couple cops off in Mexico for minor infractions, maybe $35 total. It's funny because I got stopped by cops, a while ago, and I was expecting that, and they actually gave me a ticket. And I was like, when I got the ticket, I was like, bruh. It's like, bro, come on, man. You know what I mean? You're making me go down to the police station and da-da-da, di-di-di. I didn't say that to them. I was just, that's what I was thinking. It's like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like, damn. But whatever. It is what it is. No big deal. So, let me see. But I think that's it. I think we're going to just start wrapping this bad boy up. Teal Clumsy says, do you think they will renew their regularization program next year? Yes, they will. And by the way, even if they don't, like I've talked about this before, okay? Even if they don't renew the program, again, like I mentioned in the last video I did with Jose Novello, again, the lawyer, talking about this, there is an actual thing in the law, okay, that says that every few years they have a version of the RNE program. So look, the RNE program is just basically a new program that happened during the pandemic, so that basically instead of I forgot what the program was called, but instead of doing this every 2 or 3 years, they would just do this every year. So again, what they're doing is that they're renewing the program every year, hence the RNE program. But even if they don't renew the program, all you gotta do is just stay in Mexico long enough or prove that you've been in Mexico, through residency, meaning, hey, I live here. I'm on a tourist visa. I don't want to be on a tourist visa anymore. Can I get a residency? Yeah, sure, no problem. But again, you just got to prove that you've been here for a while. That's it. But long story short, whether they renew it or not, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? The cat is out of the bag, and most people already kind of know that you can get residency. And by the way, all those immigrants, most of the immigrants, okay, that are traveling through Mexico, okay, again, going back to that, most of the immigrants that are entering through Guatemala and being processed, in one shape, form, or another, and before they make it to the USA, all of them get temporary residency. Because, well, they got to be legal here somehow, and they don't qualify for a tourist visa. So they just give them residency, and then most of them, once they get to the U.S. border, before they cross the U.S. border, they get rid of all that. Because, again, part of the whole idea of them asking for asylum or amnesty or whatever in the USA, and, getting their check, cell phone, shipped out to where they want, they got to, prove that, that they don't have anything. So they get rid of everything, Again, you can just look at plenty of documentaries that have been done on that very recently. Even Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil is now covering that situation, okay? So anyways, long story short, I mean, yeah, if you look at the Mexico side of the border, it's littered, full of litter, okay? But a lot of that litter is a bunch of temporary residencies. Yeah, that's right. It's kind of crazy, right? So that's why, all these people that are spewing all that fake news out there about like, oh, you need to have all this financial blah, 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 financial solvency and requirements in order to get residency. Like, no, you don't. No, you don't. If you believe that so much that that's preventing you from moving out here, stay where you're at. Stay where you're at, okay? Just stay where you're at, okay? But if you're, again, when I came out here, the last thing on my mind was residency. Again, if you know my story, I came out here. I got residency eventually, but, I'm already a permanent resident, but, soon to be citizen at some point. But, that was the last thing on my mind, And back then, again, I thought, just like a lot of people thought, that it was very difficult to get residency until I, realized it wasn't. It was actually really easy to get residency. So, yeah. So, yeah, no, I love Mexico, man. Mexico's what the USA used to be, back when, every American, was all about fighting for freedom and caring about their freedom. Yeah, that's what the USA used to be. Well, that's what Mexico is these days, it's that. It's a lot of people that are, very freedom-loving individuals out there, okay? So then they fought a revolution 100 years ago to establish the Constitution that's in place today and, establish their rights. Okay, and they are constantly defending those rights because, again, going back to all that, okay, in order for you to remain free, it's not free. Okay, in order for you to have freedom, you got to fight for that freedom. Okay, in fact, I'll end it with this. In order for you to really, really be free, you got to do like Twisted Sister said. No, was it Twisted Sister? No, not Twisted Sister. No, the Beastie Boys. Okay, and the Beastie Boys says, you got to fight for your right to party. Okay, that kind of came out wrong, but you know what I'm saying. You got to fight for that right, okay? And if you don't fight for that right, you're not going to be able to party. That's it. That's why everybody out here is always partying and celebrating, okay? Because they're constantly fighting for that right to party. All right? So I'll leave it with that. I'll end it there. I think we've discussed, this topic enough today. Again, I'm gonna be going live real soon. It might be in half an hour, okay? So we might go live a little earlier today. All right. So I'm gonna be changing that soon, okay? So we're gonna be. It says 2:30. Whatever. It says we're going to be going live in half an hour. All right. So meaning I'm just going to take a break. I got to catch my breath. I got to get something to drink, you know, water. It's too early. Still not 5 o'clock. But anyways, I'm going to see you guys there. Okay. So we're going to have some fun over there. I hope to see you guys there. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. If you did enjoy the show, you already know what to do. Don't forget to hit the like. All right. Subscribe, share. Okay. Share with your friends, share with your enemies, whatever, you know, just share. Sharing is caring. But more importantly than anything else, okay? Again, please stay awesome, okay? But please, okay? If you want to have some more fun, keep discussing all kinds of crazy stuff, you know, go join me over there, okay? Join me here. I'll send you the link, okay, to the live stream so you guys can join me there and start, you know, go over there and start getting in your seats, you know, get ready for the show, all right? So, you know, again, there's only a few seats, you know, you know, for sale or whatever. No, nothing's for sale. Everything's free, okay? Everything, again, going back to that, you guys already know I don't sell nothing, all right? All I do is sell my time. So again, if anyone wants some one-on-one time with me, you know, you want to do a Zoom call, you want to meet me in person, whatever, again, you know, you can go to my website for more information, okay? It's all there, all right? But as I was saying, if you want to meet me, all right, for free, all right, there's going to be an opportunity March 14th. Okay, on March 14th, you know, Christian is having a gallery opening. And as we get closer to the date, so next week, I'll give you guys the information on where that's going to be. And I hope to see you guys there. For anyone that's here, please go support my wife and her artwork. And again, I'll be there so you guys can say hi to me as well. And you know, whatever, you know, you get to meet me for a lot of you guys that want to meet me and all that good stuff. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. Nothing else to say, nothing else to talk about. Okay, let's just end this show. All right, guys, so you know the deals. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon, but more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. Hope to see you guys on Jose Unleashed, where we're going to have some crazy stories to talk about. All right, so I'll see you guys soon, and thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I got a new video tomorrow, a new video on Sunday. We got a lot of stuff this week, all right? So I hope you guys are ready to rock and roll, all right? Because I am. All right, love you guys.